Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello. I'm already laughing at stuff that's going on. The synchronicities that have arrived prior to even just hitting the record button for the show today. So happy Sunday, February the 11th, or whenever you're listening to this. But we are getting a lot of messages having to do with the 11. Obviously, we're going to get romance messages. I mean, it's the month of romance, and that romance day is coming up this week. So we have a fun chapter because there's also some astrology going on right now that could totally turn your tides if you allow it to be. So we say, to be forearmed is to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Is that what it is? Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about in a little bit of time. So I want to jump right in as I've got my enchanted hot chocolate. I'm opening my window because the sun is shining bright. Oh, no, that's too cold of a breeze. For the first time in many, many days. It's very cold out, though. So wrap us all in love light and light love, and inviting the guides who overlight this show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians. And I don't know why I'm holding I record on my iPhone, but I wear my wireless mic. I don't know why I'm holding my phone up to my face like I'm talking on a speakerphone, which I don't really need the phone. I don't even need the phone at all, honestly. I do in a second for the story, but let's just play here for a minute. And let the guides, since there's so many messages I'm getting, I want to have the guides direct me to the ones that are most important, or that you all most need to hear or know in this now, for whenever you listen to this, for the week ahead. Okay, so they want me to start with the song. So the song actually came last. The channeling we are going to read from the Rose of San Juan Capistrano again. And we did the February storytelling last Sunday. With our new bringers of the light, Skyvana and Artemis. So we will play with them again shortly, but we want to get back to the Rose of San Juan Capistrano. I do have chapters 1 through 10 out there in audiobook format. I recorded the audiobook for them, but they're out there. There's a playlist for them on my YouTube and on Spotify, if that's where you're listening to this. And if not, you just kind of have to search within the podcast if you're coming from a different provider and look for that. We have so many new people here. I just want to take a second to introduce myself. I'm TAMI Chambers. Me and my guides, we are TLC for the Soul. We have all sorts of offerings for you, all sorts of magical stuff to make your life seem more sparkly and fun. I write what I call channel fiction. That's what we do on Sundays. We read from my books that I channel in. All my ebooks are free to read. My Smashwords, I can never say Smashwords, link to my Smashwords publisher is in the show notes. If you want to go download from there, you just need an EPUB reader on your device. They're all free to read. I have fiction and nonfiction. We have over 15 books published now. Eat Like a Lemurian is our nonfiction book, and we have the Bringers of the Light series, the Spirit Guides of Tessa Locke, the Thunder Rose collection, the Soulmates series, the Kyanite Fairy Wing Adventures. All of those running amok in the fiction world. Google Books, Apple Books, Barnes and Nobles. That's where you can find them. We've got the podcast if you're listening. I design and create oracle and tarot decks. And so my decks right now that I have available are at the Game Crafter. If you've seen any of the readings on YouTube, then that's where the decks are located at if you want to peruse what's available there. what else? Oh, and our Patreon. And so we do have my Patreon, TLC for the Soul. There's 2 tiers there. One is a Bringers of the Light tier. That's where you can play with us as we do more of our Bringers of the Light fandom stuff in relation to the books. So that's my son in the background. Any extended readings from YouTube or the podcast are put, card readings are put in that tier. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, and then 2 additional things, a tarot and tea time with me, and once a month. And then there's something else we wanted to do once a month too. I forget, but it's out there. And then we also have the upper tier, which is the Inner Bringers of the Light Academy, the Inner Sanctum. There's only 19 spots available now left for that. It's a small group. And we do more teaching work, healing work, and more in-depth spiritual stuff. Hence, it's why it's called the Academy. All right. It's like our mini Hogwarts. Let's settle in now. The song is what they want me to look at first. Okay. So, this is I just saw 555 on the timer. So I was thinking about the show, and I'm like, what do we, I know the chapter, I knew the chapter we wanted to take a look at today. It's really fun. And some of the things that come out in the chapter, the metaphors, the way we do this is we'll read the chapter. If you just want to hear it like a fun story, if you're following the Rose of San Juan Capistrano, the audiobook, and you're like, what's happening next with Rosalie and Calvin and their walk down the trail of the Forbidden Bears. They're going to get some grilled cheese and honey sandwiches at this cabin in the woods. What's happening with them? You know, they got some little fairy lady wanted to like sweep them away into the fairy lands and make use of them somehow. We don't know, but they were able to resist her fairy dust and pull themselves out of the little bit of dreamscape that she had them in, and they were able to reach the place where they were going for the grilled cheese and honey, which is where we drop in now. They've reached the cabin, and they're ready for some good old grilled cheese and honey. And we're going to drop in there, read the story, and then if you want to stick around, if you're interested in the metaphors that we pull out of the story and how they might pertain to your week ahead, that's where we drop into the deeper teachings. So it's very much how we have our Patreon set up, right? So I do kind of more the lighthearted, more not so deep stuff in the Bringers of the Light tier. And then if you want to take your practice deeper, and explore things from a deeper perspective, deeper meanings, more spiritual teachings and stuff and reflections, and that's the Academy. But all right, so we're gonna do that because there is some astrology this week that's really weird. But the other thing that came out is this thing about masks. Okay, form my words with my mouth. Masks coming off. People realizing that it's time to step forward, to unshackle yourselves, I guess, from maybe some things that have been holding you back. Could be an inner frame of mind, an inner thought process. I do really think that's part of it as we get into the song here in just a second. Like there's some inner thought process going on that's keeping you, that's holding you back from stepping forward or moving forward or doing something that you really want to do. So I think that's the 2 things that are coming up to be looked at this week. Just by the sheer fact that we do have this February 2nd to February 22nd, the guide said was a huge manifesting window. It's when a lot of star being energy is projected. It happens every year, but a lot of star being energy, star light, magical light energy comes into the planet during this time to help us with manifesting and getting going, right? So if you spent all of January like, I really want to be doing this thing, but ascension symptoms or some other thing kept you from really getting going, then this 22 to 222, which is also it's a magic number, also is coming through to help get you going, shake you up like a what is it? Like a snow globe, and get you moving. And that could be on anything. That could be, what are your dreams? Is it romance? Is it finding your special person? Is it moving forward on some of these, maybe it's finding a new friend. Maybe it's, just taking care of your stuff in your daily life as the list of things that you want to do grows and grows. Yesterday, I took the day off from doing anything. I was supposed to go run to town, was really far. And I was really feeling like, no, I can't do this. And so I took the whole day off and just did, only essential items. And I got a whole lot of new ideas coming through that I want to take action on for the year. And I was like, oh my gosh, even more stuff to add to the list. How am I going to do all these things? They all sound really fun. So slot yourself in wherever that makes sense for you. But the song that came through this morning was Man or Muppet. I really enjoy movies with Jason Segel. I don't know a lot of them, but I didn't even realize he is in the movie I like. What's that, Leaving Sarah Marshall? Which takes place in Hawaii. It has to be one of my favorite movies, but Russell Brand plays an so funny character. It's kind of funny, and it's a romance too. And just all of the actors, right? It's kind of a high vibe movie for me. I like watching it. It's very cute. But I didn't realize he was also the same actor that was in the Muppet movie, the 2011. It's like a musical where he and his Gary and Amy or whatever, are trying to help the Muppets save Muppet Studios. But there's one point in the movie where I think the female character, Amy, really wants him to, really wants Gary, is it Gary and Amy? Really wants him to propose to her. And he just can't, he's torn between that life where he really loves her, he really wants to, but at the same time he's like, hey, I have he's really a Muppet person. He really wants to help the Muppets and take care of them and everything. Just not too many spoiler alerts in case you haven't seen it. The music is really good. It's another really lighthearted, fun movie. And I just told my son about it. He walked down this morning and I said, Man or Muppet? And he's like, you want to watch that movie? And I'm like, yes, because we watched that movie a couple of times. So good movies, things to raise your spirits. But the lyrics of the song were at the part where I think he's torn between Amy and proposing to her and going and taking care of the Muppets and helping them, with their dreams and goals and all that. And Amy's kind of like, okay, I am tired of this. Either you choose me first or just don't choose me at all. And she writes him a goodbye letter. And she says, I love you, but I can't do this anymore. I have to kind of come first. I have to be a priority in your life. And so she goes, I don't know, she's leaving to go to her parents or whatever. And so he sits there reading the letter, and then the song comes on, Man or Muppet. And it says, the lyrics were, I reflect on my reflection, and I ask myself the question, what's the right direction to go? I don't know. Am I a man or am I a Muppet? If I'm a Muppet, then I'm a very manly Muppet. Even the wordplay here is so good. If I'm a Muppet, am I a Muppet or am I a man? If I'm a man, that makes me a Muppet of a man. Wordplay is very enticing to me. I look into these eyes and I don't recognize the one I see inside. It's time for me to decide. Am I a man or am I a Muppet? Here I go again. I'm always running out of time. I think I've made up my mind. Now I understand who I am. I'm a man. I'm a Muppet. I'm a Muppet of a man. I'm a very manly Muppet. That's what I am. It's kind of I feel like he makes the decision to put Mary first, because he does, I think at that point, leave on a bus and he goes to her parents and he tells her, I've been so stupid, I really love you and all that. And then they get together. But at the same time, I think he's choosing both in the song because they still go on together. They go on together on a dual soul mission. They get married and to go help the Muppets, and they end up helping the Muppets at the same time too. So for any of you kind of on the fence about choices to make, even if it's not romance, if it's romance, that's fine. It applies. If it's not romance, it's you could still do both as long as you prioritize what's most important to you. And with this being an 11 day that I'm recording this, I didn't realize this either. It's 2/11, and my 11/11 card came out this morning from my City of Dreams Oracle, which takes place in New York City. Muppets Take Manhattan. Don't get sidetracked. But yeah, I think it's just time to come into balance, but you've got some decisions to make, right? Here we are in February. We're already, I think for some of you, there was December was out there, and there was a lot of things you were through the holidays, through the big transition of the solstice. I think there was a lot of this, like, I can't take one more holiday like this. I have to take a stand. I have to stand up for myself. I have to make a decision to move forward on my goals and dreams, my wishes. Maybe there's family members, I don't want to say getting in the way, but I think there's family members who maybe take a lot of your time, and you're being asked to, like, okay, well, so what is that? Are you going to just let that be your main priority and just swish all your other stuff to the side? Because your guides are telling you that you can do both. They will help you do both. They'll help you take action on your dreams and your priority list and the things that you want for yourself, for you, as well as making time for other family members or friends or whoever these people are. It seems like it's people are, and whoever these people are that are making a lot of demands on your time. There's a way to do both. It comes with strong boundaries, but it does come with setting the intention like, okay, Spirit, I want to do both. And maybe you have to clear some other non-essential stuff from your list. Maybe you really need to get your list out and say, what do I really, really want to focus on? What's the most fun stuff? Maybe in January, like I said, or the past couple of days, more fun stuff had come up and you're like, okay, now I've got a really long list. And we said on Instagram in the almost daily shorts, people were saying like, that's my dilemma. I have a really long list and whoa, what? I can't get to it all. And yesterday I was the same thing too. Yesterday, which is Saturday, I was like, I've got a really long list, and you know what? I can't get to any of it today other than the absolute essential top things, because I just felt really, really drained with ascension stuff and the switch from the water rabbit to the wood dragon, the Chinese New Year, the energy switch there at the same time as the moon thing, with the moon. The Aquarius moon, and I was just like, I'm over it. I can't do anything today. I just have to I do nothing day. I just clear it all out. So now I have a whole new list, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm only one person. I only have, so many hours a day, so many days in a month, and so many months in a year. So I'm really going to have to pick my top stuff, the thing that's really, and take action on those things. And there are other things in my reality that take up my time as well. I have animals to care for, and my son is in my reality. Like, I have other people too, but honestly, they don't have to take up. So, right, you can structure your day. So I think that the message from the guides is it's time to decide. And it's time for me to decide. Am I a man or a Muppet? You can do all these things. You can have the new romance and have your family responsibilities and your job. You can have all these things. Just work with your guides. And in this case, take a step forward rather than just all this inner reflection. Because the very first line of the song is, I reflect on my reflection. It's like, oh my gosh, I think you've done all the reflecting you need to do, all the thinking and trying to slot it into your brain, and now it is time to move forward. So the other thing with this am I a man or am I a Muppet is all about masks. Different layers of identity. And I find this very interesting because I channeled this chapter, I don't know now, 3 or 4 days ago. And I was going to do more, and I was like, no, this is where the synchronicities come in, that you're going to start seeing that the week ahead from when you listen to this, whether you listen to this the day it drops or whenever you catch this, The week ahead for you is all about synchronicities and signs showing you and confirming to you that what we're talking about here is really, what we're talking about here is really meant for you. Like sometimes we need those confirmations, or sometimes it's fun to have those confirmations, or sometimes confirmation after confirmation after confirmation is just what you need to help keep you moving forward and give you that momentum that you need. So I do find this interesting now as I'm looking down. The chapter we're going to read is chapter 11. I got the 1111 card this morning, and today is February the 11th. And I didn't realize that when I brought the channeling in for this one. But the title of the chapter is, we're going to read it now, and then we'll pull out any other metaphors. But it's We're Out of Grilled Cheese. So if you're just following, like we said, the story of Rosalie and Calvin, they're walking down the trail. They reach the little cabin. It's called the Hidden Foot Tavern. The Hidden Foot Tavern. Excited for lunch. They both thank their guides for the protection, because they slipped through. They'd almost fallen prey to a fairy portal, lost their way, and possibly never returned home again. All right, so let's start here. The couple ran and stumbled their way off the trail and up the gravel path. The Hidden Foot Tavern emitted a welcoming feeling, and the smell of toasted grilled cheese wafted from the beckoning front door. "We made it," Calvin said with relief as he checked his watch again. The whole trip had only taken 7 minutes, but somehow in that time, they had almost fallen prey to a fairy portal, lost their way, and possibly never returned home again. They both thanked the protection of their guides and slipped inside the Hidden Foot Tavern, excited for lunch and a chance to deconstruct the last few moments. Chapter 11, We're Out of Grilled Cheese. Calvin took a menu from the little shelf by the door. They were instructed to seat themselves by what seemed to be a very small person dressed as a teddy bear. The whole Muppet synchronicity is going to kill me here. Your drink. I can't even do the voices. I do the voices really good on the audiobook recording. Your drink order. Another teddy bear costumed server appeared almost magically behind Calvin as the couple seated themselves at the nearest tablescape by the door. There was a light breeze blowing through the tiny windows at each table, and the server placed a ramekin of tasty berries and a dollop of cream in a tiny saucer before them. "We both want the grilled cheese and honey sandwich," Calvin said, looking at Rosalie to be sure she hadn't changed her mind. "Yum, yes, grilled cheese," she said, almost tasting the crunchy toasted bread and melty cheese. "I'm sorry," the server bear person said in a whisper. "We're out of grilled cheese." Calvin and Rosalie's mood dropped slightly. "Oh, bummer," they both said almost simultaneously. "Today's special is cream of mountain mushroom soup and a tasty chef-prepared grilled mushroom and Gruyere toasty bread." Calvin looked at Rosalie, and they both wondered about all the mushrooms on the menu that day. "I'm not sure about the soup." And remember, guys, cream of mountain, if you've been following the story, cream of mountain mushroom is Mr. S's concoction. How did it get to the Hidden Foot Tavern? "I'm not sure about the soup," Calvin said, "but the sandwich sounds great. I'll take that." Rosalie continued to peruse the menu. "I'll have the toasted strawberry and brie sandwich." And she also hesitated about the soup. "Gazpacho, please." She closed the menu and handed it to the server. The server growled a little and took the menu. He made a mental note of the order and bowed slightly before stepping away. Another server, in a similar bear costume, appeared and placed a teapot and several china cups and saucers on the table. "Our special tea for special people," the server said. "Honey, rosemary, and lavender," the bear said. "Would you like me to pour?" "Sure," Rosalie said, noticing this server's hands were very furry looking. "Thank you." The bear server slowly poured their tea and then slipped quietly away into the back of the cabin. This place is very interesting, Calvin said, looking around. Just then, a big commotion went up from several tables away. A large man in hiking attire stood up, mouthed some very unkind obscenities to his table partner, and then picked up his soup bowl and threw it against the wall. The table partner also mouthed some very disagreeable words, and then picked up their sandwich, wrapping it in a napkin, and stormed out of the cabin. The large man wiped his forehead and looked around. "I'm sorry," he said to anyone listening. "I don't know what came over me. It was the most disconcerting feeling." The bear server came over bringing a towel, a mop, and the bill. The towel was for the table, the mop for the man, and the bill contained a sum for the broken and cherished china bowl. The bear server looked most disconcerted and handed the mop to the man. All these cows on this sound thing. The man, oh, it's making me laugh. The man started sopping up the soup and then handed the bear server his credit card. After all the commotion died down and the man had paid and left, the bear server appeared again with a tray of goodies for the couple. "Wow, that was weird," Calvin said, eyeing the tray and his sandwich. "Yeah," Rosalie said, still feeling strange about everything happening at the moment. But once her strawberry and brie sandwich was placed before her, she forgot all about the incident. Crunchy," she said, biting into the toasty sandwich. "Yes, mine too," Calvin said, savoring the taste of the freshly foraged mushrooms. All is right in the world, the couple thought at the same time. And it's true. It was in their world. But as another soup bowl smashed against the floor of the cabin, both Rosalie and Calvin figured that something else was going on here. Okay, we're going to break this down. But I always channel in the next chapter's title. And chapter 12, I love this. It's so funny. Chapter 12 is, "Are you a man or a bear?" Am I a man or am I a Muppet? Are you a man or a bear? I love it. My guides know how to tantalize me with these fun serendipities and stuff. These fun little synchronicities. Welcome to my world. All right. So if you're just in it for the story, then there you go. It's very exciting, right? What's going on there? Who are these bears? Are they bears or are they people? We are in the forest of the forbidden bears, right? What's going on there? We don't know yet. I'm thinking that they're bears in disguise as servers, but who knows, right? The other thing, let me just see. The cream of mountain mushroom soup. Okay, so that was Mr. S is our kind of, bad guy or whatever, our dark forces in this book so far. He, a while back, a few chapters back, concocted this cream of mountain mushroom soup that was supposed to make people like very agitated and angry, right? Just spreading like ill will, because that's his job. He's working for dark forces. And his job was to create this soup and deliver it to the kitchens at the Whistling Gulch retreat for the purpose of, spoiling everybody's good mood. Now, I don't know how cream of mountain mushroom soup got to the Hidden Foot Tavern. So I'm wondering there, I'm like, do we have some sort of double agent bear or something? Like somebody working for both sides at the same time? Why is cream of mountain mushroom soup spoiling all the fun in the Hidden Foot Tavern? So we've yet to find out. A little cliffhanger there. And then the other thing is the cantankerous moods, the disconcerted feelings, the all of a sudden the anger and feelings coming out. There are some things in the astrology going on right now, certain planetary alignments that just could make it a potentially like irritable week ahead. It could just be all these little things are irritating you and you don't know why. And you're like, what? I'm always in a high vibe mood. But all of a sudden I'm like, grr, like the bear that growled. The server that growled a little and took the menu. We don't know why. I think there could just be this little bit of like, and there is, from what I've heard about the astrology, the potential for, you know, unforeseen obscenities to just come out, and disconcerted feelings and little commotions and maybe some broken china. Just be aware, okay? Especially for those people that are unaware or not awake. Right? The planets push us. They're like the outer chakras to our inner chakras. So when they're dancing around in the heavens doing stuff, it affects us in different ways. If you have a very unclear aura, if you don't do any energy work on yourself, then you're more affected by these things than everybody else. But like we said at the beginning, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. You're aware there's something going on in the astrology. If you feel a little out of sorts, I think it could even be too like, oh, it's Valentine's Day and I'm by myself again, or it's, I wish I could have done more for my person, or wish I had a person. There just could be some grumbliness coming up. Some of these things, though, that you're grumbling about are within your control to make manifest or do something differently, like we said in the beginning of the show. Others, I think, are outside of your control. There's not a lot you can do about them other than be patient, take a deep breath, regain your balance, and regain your high vibey perspective as best you can. Because if it's outside of your control, then it does you no good service to continue to harp on it and to continue to be disagreeable about it. The best thing there is just to find a better thinking thought and move on. Yeah, because with Rosalie and Calvin, they're just enjoying their sandwiches. But the thing with them too is their intuition told them something about the soup, because they both thought twice about the soup. So I think it sounded good, but then for some reason they were like, no, I'm going to have something else. And everybody else chose the cream of mushroom soup. So, right, you're awake, you're aware, you're tuned in, tapped on, what does Abraham say? Turned on. You know what's going on. If something doesn't feel right to you, trust that feeling and move on to something else, which was what happened to me yesterday. I always get precursors of the energy before I meet with you guys or do a show. And yesterday was a good one, and I got very strongly guided. My guys didn't tell me don't do this, but they were like, you should not, for your own best interest, you should not go to town today. And there could have been many different reasons, but ultimately they were looking out for my best interest, which is I'm trying to stay peaceful. I'm trying to stay balanced. I'm trying to stay high vibe and happy and, peaceful. And I didn't want to upset the apple cart. And I think the energies around me and in the town I was going to, remember I said it was Gotham City. I think there was some energies there that were just going to be a little bit much to handle with all the other stuff all the other integration work I was doing yesterday internally. All right, so let me just check in and see. Yeah, okay. So that is all we have for you. It's going to be a very interesting week ahead. If you want to, shy away from any lower energies, check out those movies. Like Leaving Sarah Marshall is a really cute romance. There's nothing, dark about it. It's really upbeat. Anything in Hawaii is upbeat for me. The Muppet movie, the 2011, the musical, very cute, very upbeat. Some catchy songs, some good acting. It's more of like singing and dancing. The Muppets are there. Come on, you can't go wrong. All right. I am going to leave you all here for now. And I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe I will see you again. I will see you again soon, though. I have recorded, I have recorded a pick a card reading that will be going up tomorrow, which is Monday, called What Fairy Tale is Coming True for You? What Fairy Tale is Coming True for You? And there will be, as with one of those piles, there will also be an extended reading or extended part teaching for that over on the Bringers of the Light Patreon. So that is the next thing that will be showing up in your reality from me. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me here, and we will see you all again soon. Take care.
This episode has been brought to you by Frolicking Fraulein. Interactions with Frolicking Fraulein could bring on magical, mystical euphoria, dizziness, lightheadedness, sudden feelings of losing all sense of 3D reality.
Oh no!
no, someone's been a naughty frolicking Fraulein.